All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Super Speedway Xfinity Series here tonight at Daytona International Speedway. Scheduled race distance, as always, is 75 laps. However, as we've talked about before, 3 attempts of a green-white checkered could show up and loom for these drivers. So, of course, got to keep that in the back of your mind and kind of plan around that potentially. And of course, as always, one fast repair available for these drivers. And we're down to it here. We are on the second to last race of the season. So we've had 2 playoff races down, and we're on race number 3 out of the 4 before next week's championship finale race at Talladega. And right now, it's still pretty tight up front for our top 2 in the points. And so let's pull up those standings as we speak. As you can see right now, Sebastian Marin with a 13-point lead over JD Crowe. But you see right there, though, JD +6 with that big win last week propels him all the way from 8th to 2nd. So it definitely shows that you're never out of the running depending on how your race goes. So definitely keep an eye, see if JD can kind of keep that momentum going. You see it's a little bit further down to third there. You see Vicente Guerrero, unfortunately, as we talked to him last week, not here this evening on vacation. So definitely hope you're enjoying yourself, Vicente. And you got Eric Laurie as well sitting in third, 31 out, and then only 33 out is Gabe Butler in that number 1 machine. So definitely could watch those two, see them jump up as well. And of course, never can really count out any of those guys, honestly. Peter DeBorgia, Cody Nagels, Todd Siebels. And then, so, I mean, it's 56 points. It seems like a lot, but again, you don't know how the playoffs and how the points are going to shake out depending on week in, week out, the way these races go. So, that's why we're here. That's why these guys are here to race. And it's going to be fun to see what they all have in store for us tonight. It looks like about 25, 26 drivers taking the grid this evening. So we'll say right now qualifying going on for those to see. Again, talk about bonus points as well. See who can get that fastest qualifying lap. Maybe one of our playoff contenders gets a point either to increase their margin or to close that gap on that number 23 of Sebastian Marin. So right now, looks like we've had about 16 cars put a lap down. Still got a handful of drivers on track, so wouldn't count that being done and over with as of yet. Do need to, of course, also mention, looks like about a minute and a half remaining. So says I won't spoil who's on pole right now, but yeah, right now, like I said, drivers still finishing up their laps here, and definitely some good laps here, and a couple drivers that not used to seeing putting qualifying laps in. So I'll say it will be fun to kind of go over that here as we get finished up here in qualifying. But like I mentioned, though, again, 75 laps are scheduled distance. Fuel window right on the edge of that 25 lap mark, so should be a 2-stop race for most drivers. But of course, I mean, depending if and when cautions fall, could completely change the complexion of this race and the strategy of this race. As that's always the big, to me, that's one of the bigger points of this track. And the race is kind of that pit strategy. And again, being Daytona a little narrower than Talladega, so we won't see as much 3-wide action as we typically see at Talladega, of course. So it's going to be fun to see kind of where the strategy is. Do we see a lot of moving and shaking kind of towards the front, or is it going to be kind of just maybe more of a more formal, more formation type racing until we get to that closing stages of the race? So I say, yeah, a lot to play for here. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. Saying qualifying just about completed here. We'll get that starting grid for you all here in just about another 15-20 seconds as my partner in crime, Matt Wagner, has rolled into the booth as well. And Matt, qualifying just about done here. So we got 7 of the 8 playoff drivers here this evening. And we saw that JD Crowe made a big jump in the points last week, so we'll see if anybody can do similar here tonight. But yeah, qualifying just completing here. So before we get to that, Matt, let's pull up our starting grid for tonight's event. And it is going to be Sebastian Marin on the pole position there by half a tenth. So big lap there in qualifying by Sebastian over Cody Nagels. And then you got Bud Steele, Robert DuPont, and Eric Laurie rounding out our top 5. And then Keith Horner, Gabe Butler, JD Crowe, Jimmy Crowe Jr., and Zach Workman rounding out our top 10. And continuing down the order, you have Dean Wilkinson, Joshua Gathright, 11th and 12th. And then continuing on, Jay Hilliard, Mark Mann, Les Levy, Derek Walker, Charles Johnson, David Overstreet, Rick Seabrands, Peter DeBorgia, Robert Rock, Bob Fitzgerald, Dan Harrington, Randy Miner in 24th. And then the last two taking part tonight will be Todd Siebels and Robert Jordan, our 26 starters this evening. All right, Matt. So again, 75 laps here, Matt. We know the fuel mileage is right on the edge of a two-stopper to the end. So you're going to have to kind of balance that aggression versus fuel mileage on this the initial portion of this race, possibly. But of course, if and when a yellow comes out, that of course could completely change the complexion of this thing here. So Daytona Talladega, like kind of their own little animals, really, with the increase in width and of course the increased ability of going three wide. So to me, I feel like this is going to be a little tougher to really gain big track position early on without any kind of anything big happening. So it's going to be fun to see how this initial couple laps kick off for these guys up front.
Yeah, we probably won't see about three wide. I'm always wrong. So we will probably see three wide maybe early or maybe toward the race. So I can't predict that. Usually I'm bad about predicting things. So I've been, as you say, commentator's curse, and I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's always fun. I say, yeah, I say it wouldn't be a Green White Checker TV without any commentator's curse. So, but yeah, you're exactly right. There's a lot of potential. You see the field all rolling out of pit road here. So you saw there Todd Siebels, the last one to roll out of pit road, which will be our 26th starter for this evening. And then bringing it back over to Sebastian Marin in that 23. So sharing front row, Sebastian Marin, Cody Nagels. I think Cody really needs to use what JD was able to do last week as kind of motivation, where wasn't a good race for 100%. Cody. Obviously didn't have the luck he needed, but now he has the opportunity to say, oh, you know what? I saw what the JD did. He jumped 6 spots in the points to get all the way up to second. I can do the same here. That way have a chance at that final race. So a win definitely does give you a bunch of bonus points as well. It definitely is. I mean, obviously, of course, winning is winning, but it actually is definitely a lot more advantageous than other point systems. So I think that's definitely going to be something in these guys' mind as well tonight. So, but then again, I mean, you got to start looking at those non-playoff drivers. Look at Bud Steele. Look at Robert DuPont right there.
Yeah.
Keith Horner. They want to get wins here. I'm saying, great qualifying runs. So yes, I mean, and that's again, as a playoff driver, you're going to have to find that balance where you want to win, you want to push hard, but you're going to have guys that really don't have as much to lose. So it's going to be fun to see as we're going to see that pace car duck off here in just a moment. Flagman is ready. And once they get to that restart zone, the green will fly and we will be underway. As there they go, green flags out. And 75 laps our race distance. We are green here at Daytona. Looks like a good start for the top 23 or so. We got a couple towards the back, though, having some troubles here. Looks like Randy Miner especially, something way wrong there. But Todd Siebels, Robert Jordan definitely in trouble here early, Matt. Looks like Todd's going to recover, but Robert Jordan and Randy Miner, they are already off the draft here before we even get to turn 1 and 2. As I say, this could be, unfortunately, a long race for them, so we'll see how things shake out. But right now, Bud Steele going straight for the front here, trying to get that lead here in that 6.
Looks like a little bit of a technical issue with Randy. Maybe accidentally flipped the switch to turn off the car. I've done that before, but not at the start of the race. But that's pretty unfortunate. He's going to have need a caution to catch back up.
Yeah, it's like lap 1's going to go to that 6 of Bud Steele. Again, talked about drivers wanting to be able to just get wins and not even worry about points, just be going for wins and staying aggressive, and that's exactly what we see here as Bud Steele's doing right off the bat. And again, look in the ticker on the left, you will see those highlighted in green are the playoff drivers this evening. So right now we got 4 of the 7 in tonight's race in that top 10, as now Sebastian Marin starting to get that push down the backstretch to see if he can take the point.
Yeah, if I was in 6 of Bud Steele, I would definitely try and make a statement here today. Like, I'm here, guys. I'm here to win.
Yeah, as you see right now, Sebastian Marin trying to work both lanes. Surprisingly, actually going a little bit up and down there at the line. I'm not sure who had it at the line. I think it may have been Bud Steele once again leading that second lap as well. So But yeah, surprisingly though, I kind of expected Sebastian to stay kind of comfortable in the leading the inside lane, but he actually opted to pick back up the 06 of Cody Nagels. So that kind of shifts things back again into me and kind of into the favor of that 6 of Bud Steele. As you see, one down on the inside, dropping a little bit back. I think that may be, no, it's not Dean Wilkinson. Who is that a little further back there? I couldn't quite catch the car number there, but we'll jump back up front because now Sebastian Marin takes over the front. This time drops to the low line. And I'll look at Bud Steele, a big move straight back to the top here out of turn number 4. Give me that drag race to the start-finish line. And I think this time by the 23, I believe, just had it at the line. But yeah, these guys are definitely going after each other here early and often. Bud kind of learning from these guys, I feel like, kind of figuring out, hey, okay, as soon as I clear, I jump up, I get that big push, I have a chance to get the lead back. So Bud definitely wasting no time here trying to get moving forward. And as you see, Gabe Butler got a little bit too dicey for his preference. He's going to roll off the back just a little bit here to play it safe. Again, we've seen this strategy work out very well for him previously, so we'll see if it's going to happen once again here. And the other car I saw drop back was actually Jimmy Crow Jr. That's who it was that I missed there earlier. He's just dropped back just a little bit off this main pack right now. But up front, though, these guys staying 2x2. And mentioned Matt, it's like, talked about maybe not a lot of high climbers right off the bat, and proven wrong right away. Les Levy already up 8 spots in that number 62. David Overstreet in the 68 up 10 spots. So those guys have found ways to get to the front here. You see the 20 of Derek Walker. He's making some big moves as well. He is also up 7 positions in that 20. And Dan Harrington, his teammate, not too far back in 13th, also up 10 spots. So yeah, up front, I say these guys, oh yeah, we got a couple now dropping down to the bottom. Bud Steele, let's say, looks like one Eric Laurie as well. And ooh, a little bit of a bobble there. They weren't all quite settled, but just gets up on track in time there, Matt. I say you got to be very careful here. Daytona, that apron is much, much more treacherous than at Talladega, but looks like everybody's going to get through unscathed there.
I bet you Cody Nagel is probably missing his teammates right about now. His IROC teammates, I should say. Yeah,
so you're right. Yeah, Cody not having either of his teammates here this evening, BK or Vicente. So Cody's going to have to try to find some friends. And I mean, it seems like he's been working pretty well here early with Sebastian. So maybe we'll see an informal kind of cooperation with the two of them potentially. So we'll see. I mean, maybe again, even Keith Horner.
That lasts.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, I mean, I say was probably last lap come out of 4 things like that nature. Yeah, all bets will be off. But right now, though, up front, though, let's say he has been able to grab a lap lead, though. As you see, though, that 07 Robert DuPont again, he is. I mean, this past season, I mean, he's just completely upped his game here, Matt. Been in contention for wins multiple times this season, just hasn't had the luck turn his way to get one yet. But again, it's one of the things that's just you got to keep putting yourself in position, and eventually you got to hope the luck turns your way. And I mean, that's really all you can do in these races, and that's exactly what Robert's been doing this season, is just keeping himself up front and giving himself a chance just if things just kind of go his way for once.
Yeah, like I said, he's certainly picked up his game, and you see him running up front, just about almost every week. Yeah, I can say that, but just needs the luck on the side.
Also qualifying well as well, 4th here today as well. So I mean, so he's starting to get a little bit of everything. Is looking at the one of Gabe Butler, he's actually peeking to the top side here. He's looking 3 wide, but on his own in that number 1 Guinness machine. So again, we talked about 3 wides being is a little sketchy here at Daytona, especially when you don't have any help. So surprised to see Gabe kind of peeking up here as he is. But like I said, just doesn't have any help at the moment. Actually, you see Dan Harrington going to swing on by him. So yeah, so a little surprised. Oh yeah, close there between the 1 and the 82 there. But yeah, it's kind of an odd situation with this one car. Didn't expect to see him especially when we saw him drop back a little earlier. Wouldn't have expected to see him jump to that 3rd lane and try to make a push a little bit, like I said, but on his own though. So and now he's gonna have to drop back into line here just behind Dan Harrington in front of Charles Johnson. But right now up front still continues to be Cody Nagels leading the way in that 06. And I mean, again, for Sebastian Marin, I think actually here he goes. I think the 1 and the 20 may be trying to hook up here in that 3rd lane now. And yeah, here they go. Derek Walker, he's going to see if he can get that push from that 1. See if they can kind of spoil that party up front.
Wow. I usually wouldn't expect the 37 to jump up high, but yeah, that's a pretty smart move by Derek. Heads up.
I mean, yeah, saying again, you look at the drivers you have, one of the best pushers in that number one, Gabe Butler. So I say when you see that in your mirror, wanting to go 3 wide, not a bad place to be. But again, I mean, you got to be on your toes here. Actually, you see there, Gabe actually kind of leaves Derek out to dry there. Yeah.
No, but he's got his teammate right behind him.
Oh, we got contact up front.
We got contact.
Yeah, big wreck here in the trial. Well, looks like Sebastian Marin's going to make it through, possibly Gabe Butler. However, further on back, though, multiple drivers involved here. So you see the 18 there, Zach Workman, Cody Nagels. We saw kind of right off the kick of that one. So, yeah, unfortunately, going to handful of playoff drivers. You see that 59 Jay Hilliard just kind of waiting for it to be safe to loop his car back around. So, tough break for a couple of these guys. It's close call there for a second there with the 59 and the 74 there, I think, with the 59 trying to roll around there. So let's go back here, Matt, take a look to see what happened, because once again, unfortunately, just right at the absolute front of the field. And I mean, that's just, there's not much you can do at that point when that kind of situation happens. So let's go back. Let's take a look here. So say we're going to focus first on the 06 of Cody Nagels. And man, you can see the 07 and the 23, they're really tight together. And say it may be one of those situations, maybe one moved up, one moved down, but unfortunately the victim of that one's going to be Cody Nagels, unfortunately, ahead of it all. But great hands by Sebastian to hang onto that car, and then you can see everybody else from behind kind of getting collected in. But I mean, look at Gabe Butler here, just somehow able to get to the outside of all of that one, able to get through cleanly. And it looks like possibly Derek Walker, he gets a little piece of that 37 car as well. So yeah, a good chunk of the front section of the field here. Probably Cody Nagels, one of the drivers getting the worst of it there, unfortunately. Oh, JD Crow as well. Didn't catch that one earlier. Big hit for the 5 there as well. So like I said, a couple playoff drivers here, unfortunately involved here early. So we'll jump back live because we got pit stops going on right now, Matt, with Sebastian Marin being the first of those onto pit road. And again, this kind of takes that strategy out of the question now for fuel or tires. It's going to be basically, or it should be 2 stops no matter what to the end. But Gabe Butler, he's going to win the race off pit road, and lengthy stop for Sebastian Marin, so probably some damage to fix for that 23 car. So again, we talked about bonus points for an incident-free race. So we did have a handful of drivers, Cody Nagels, of course, JD Crow. Those drivers, unfortunately, with being involved in the incident, they won't be incident-free at this point in the race, so they're going to be in trouble. Well, not in trouble, but they won't get those bonus points. But and possibly Sebastian Marin as well, as like I said, I mean, he had damage repair based on the pit stop time there, so possibly incident points for that 23 as well. So yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Actually, that nose of the one car there, you see a little bit center punch there on Gabe Butler. So a little bit of nose damage to his car as well. So it's, again here, Matt, these playoffs kind of just kicking off early and often, and it's going to be interesting to see. But we do have some lengthy pit stops. I'm seeing numerous drivers with 30, 40-second pit stops. One of those being Rick Seabrands in the 76 car, about 30 seconds on pit road in his Yeti machine. Derek Walker about 50 seconds in that number 20. Dan Harrington 53, 52 for JD Crow. And so yeah, so unfortunately some significant damage for some of our playoff drivers as well. And then you even still got a couple just now rolling out of pit road, like you see Jay Hilliard rolling out now. Zach Workman just leaving pit road here, just I think to avoid going a lap down. So yeah, this is a pretty, for implications, if you will, early on here, Matt, pretty quick and often.
Championship implications.
So yeah. I mean, look at our ticker right now, Matt. We've got 3, I think it's gonna be 2 drivers right now in the top 10 at this restart. Gabe Butler leading again with a little bit of nose damage. I have a little bit of concern about that, and that 23 of Sebastian Marin. So I don't know if you're able to, Matt, if you're able to go and check to see, are we able to kind of get a verification on which drivers maybe still have an incident-free race of our playoff contenders? Because I mean, again, I think that's going to be. Is it just Todd?
Just Todd.
I mean, that's wild right there. So you got the 1, the 23, already having incident points, so no clean race. So yeah, so for Todd here, again, I mean, to me, for Todd here, I think you go back and you kind of play it safe a little bit and wait till the end, and that's when you make your big move. So again, strategy-wise though, Matt, at this point, we know for sure everybody's good to go on 2 stops to the end. Of course, the question will be maybe how little fuel you take on that final stop, depending on how you split it. So we'll see. It's going to feel completely shaken up right now. You've got Gabe Butler still leading after the pit stops. We got David Overstreet now up into the 4th position in that number 68, up 14 spots. The 08 of Bob Fitzgerald right behind, also up 17 spots in the 08 machine. So some big moves for these guys, but we're going to get the restart here, Matt. It's going to hand it over to that number 1 machine of Gabe Butler's field, trying to get all sorted here on this restart. As the pace car is off, green flag is out, and we are back underway here. Lap number 13 at the line. So the question is going to be, is that one car able to lead this field very well? And quickly, that number 37, Keith Horner, he jumps in front. 23, Sebastian Marin may just be about able to clear. Nope, can't quite do it yet. So Keith Horner is going to lead pretty comfortably, and I think this is a good opportunity for Gabe. I think this is his best friend right here, is just to stay on the draft. Nope, never mind. He's going to jump to the top here and try to take off once more. But man, with that nose damage, I don't think you want to be leading that field, but maybe not aware of the nose damage that car is showing. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I mean, we've had some lengthy drivers in the pits, and they're already right up charging. I mean, you look at Derek Walker again, 50 seconds in the pits, fighting already right in that top 5 window. So this, yes, it's going to be an interesting one here, Matt, as we start lap number 14 now. But yeah, right now we got 3 playoff drivers in the top 10, as again things are going to just kind of ebb and flow here. But yeah, kind of a wild start here.
Yeah, very wild start. Just now these drivers got to think about being more cautious, knowing some of these playoff drivers have used a faster pair. That's got to be in their back of their mind, except for Gabe Butler. But like I said, Kyle, I really don't know about that front nose damage, but it seems to be okay the way I'm sorry. Keith Horner is pushing the one car.
I'm saying it's kind of a double-edged sword for Gabe as well. Say that nose damage, again, it's probably hurting a little bit on the front end. Leading the pack probably doesn't have quite the top end that he'd like to have. Potentially, again, it may not be as bad as we think. But then also, there's always that little concern that maybe it hurts that car also temperature-wise, maybe overheats a little bit easier. So I'd say for Gabe, maybe the temperature-wise, you want to be up front and keep the fresh air on the front of it to avoid that that risk of getting that car a little hotter than usual. So we'll have to wait and see. But right now, they've actually kind of settled in up front on the inside line. But as soon as I say that, as we were about to switch cameras, Keith Horner doing Keith Horner things. That's going to be to try to get to that outside. And Bud Steele, he's going to jump right along with him in that number 6. And now I'd say it's all kind of, again, out to play for here to see who's going to have the momentum where, as David Overstreet's pushing that one of Gabe, but that 6 of Bud Steele's been able to push Keith Horner just a nose ahead. I believe they're at the line.
Now we really get to see how well that nose shared against Keith Horner there with Bud Steele pushing.
Yeah, you see right there, Jimmy Crow Jr. rolling out of it. This saw that a little earlier as well. But yeah, you see right there, Keith Horner's just able to clear the one. He drops to the inside. But I say, look on the outside, that second car there. I believe that's Les Levy. That car's also got some nose damage as well. So it's like I said, I mean, it's a lot of drivers with some damage, and they say, but Gabe again, I mean, looks like he's just gonna be relentless. I think he maybe rolled back a little bit earlier, then went back to the front and decided, you know what, I'm gonna try to put this in my own hands and just get after it here in that number 1 machine. So the one surprise to me though, Matt, is sitting in about the 10th position here, Sebastian Marin. I'll say it's not very often you see him kind of mid-pack, and that being in 10th place here tonight. Not too common to see him drop that far back in the field. So a little surprised about that. But and I'm saying also kind of stuck in this 2x2 battle up in front of these guys. So and you also see the 5 of JD Crow. I think he's opted to start rolling forward as well here. So, and that's again the damage, Matt. That's where things change. You kind of take it easy, play it calm, play it cool. As soon as you get that damage, you say, all right, you know what? I've lost my incident point free race. I'm not going to get those bonus points. So now you can maybe almost like a free pass to not step up the aggression, but you're not having to stress about that potential damage. And Like I said, if in fact the 45 of Todd Siebels is the only one that has an incident-free car of our playoff contenders, that's why we're seeing drivers now like that number 41 of Peter DeBorgia, which you can see the clear damage to the back of him. The 071 Eric Laurie, it's like, well, let's go 3 wide then. I say we got damage already. Well, let's get after it here. So the next best thing you can do is to try to lead some laps, get a bonus point, get the win. So I think that's what we're seeing out of that 41 and the 071 here on that third lane.
I think you might be thinking, lead a lap, drop to the back.
I don't know. I think some of these guys are probably thinking lead the most laps right now. As you see that 41, they were able to get a little bit further up there, clear the 3x3 and get down to 2 wide there. And they're working their way towards the top 5 right now, just outside. You see on the outside of Les Levy here, actually just inside the top 10, I should say. But right now, everybody's kind of settled in on the inside lane here. You only got about 2 cars on the outside before you get to that one in the 071. So right now, Keith Horner, David Overstreet kind of just controlling this inside lane pretty well right now. But as soon as I say that, here come the teammates starting to all get lined up together. You see JD Crow, he's hopped up in front of Peter there, and they're going to get going after it once more. And they're going to have 1 lapped car here and probably a couple laps, Matt. That's going to be the 59 of Jay Hilliard, who's unfortunately a few laps down already. But yeah, that 1 car is, again, just even with that nose damage, just doesn't know the kind of the phrase quit. So I mean, you know, Gabe, he's gonna, if he has half a car, he's gonna stay after it here. So, and wouldn't put it past him to get a good result here as well.
You know, we failed to mention. You remember Randy Miner had the very bad start. Oh, look at him now. He's sitting there in 7th spot.
Yeah, sure. And here comes the third lane, a little bobble there off the push there, but here comes JD Crow again. He got that big, wide. Yep, 3x3 here. But yeah, the big win by the 5 car last week. He's going to try to see if he can make lightning strike twice here. But Peter DeBorgia, as you can see, kind of dropped down, maybe pick up a little bit of a draft possibly. Then, nope, they're going to fall back in line. So just don't have the momentum yet. And I think also they probably see that 59 car kind of coming up and say, yeah, this may not be the time to make that big push yet. So we'll see, though. But right now, I mean, it's been that one in the 37. They've been the ones pretty much controlling since this restart with great pushing from David Overstreet and Bud Steele. So, but yeah, you're right, though. I mean, Randy Miner, like I said, had the issue on the initial start. Now sitting right around the top 5 there, just in a nice little pocket here, too. But again, we're getting to that point, Matt. We're 21 here of 75. So in a few more laps, we're going to be right in that fuel window where they can pit and then make it on one more stop. So the question is going to be, do we see drivers pit early? Do we see drivers just run this tank out as far as they can? So it's been fun to see again, the respect by these guys. Jay Hilliard, he's going to drop off the racing line, let those leaders on by. And I'm saying this is a good opportunity for him. He might be able to just cruise the apron and then slide up behind and get a little bit of a tow right there. And he looks like he's going to get back on track, so that worked out perfectly for him. But yeah, right now, though, everybody's pretty much all together. And then, like you said, the one incident-free playoff driver, Todd Siebels, he is definitely playing that. I think he's trying to use that to his advantage in that 45 here tonight.
Nah, he's just having a Todd Siebels race.
I mean, that's the thing is, I'm sure these drivers are aware. It's like, hey, I think a bunch of those guys got caught up in that wreck. I know I'm good still. Let's try to keep it that way. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, again, still lots of racing to go. Still got two at least scheduled green flag pit stops to go in this one as well.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so still lots of racing left to go in this one. Sebastian Marin, we mentioned him a little earlier, still in the kind of the back of this main pack, just hasn't had anywhere really to be able to even go in this one. And then also Peter DeBorgia, he's actually worked his way down to the inside lane now after talking about him working that third lane. I just wonder if we see maybe some teammates here at some point say, all right, you know what, now's the time. Let's do that early pit stop. Let's see if we can kind of break the pack apart. So it'll be fun to see how that goes here.
Yeah, just remember they get pretty much like a free pit stop, you know, with that early caution. So I don't know, Kyle. I would probably run it out. It's just to see, and knowing that last stop, maybe possibly just for fuel only.
And that's the question, yeah, is the timing of the yellow. They all pitted around lap number 10 to 11. So, again, so basically it pretty much gave them about a 10-lap margin on fuel. It sounds like the fuel range in these cars is probably about 25 laps. So, basically, if they ran it out all the way, one of their stops, they basically would be pitting with about 15 to go on the final stop if they stretched it all the way to the end. But I do wonder, like, I mean, maybe we see somebody pit around, let's say, lap number 30, for instance, because then you have the buffer for the green-white checkers. You have things to play with. So it's gonna be interesting to see. And again, I mean, you've got a good group of teammates in some various teams. Obviously, TW Motorsports has a really solid group. Obviously, we know about the boot knockers as well. So. And then maybe some of these drivers, maybe they try to tag on to those guys, say, hey, you know what, I see him coming in, let's go with them. So, I mean, we've seen that kind of come into play as well. But right now, though, man, it's kind of the Keith Horner show right now. He and David Overstreet, they've just been able to stay locked onto each other, and they're just able to roll this bottom lane very well, and nobody's really very worried about trying to make some big moves here. I mean, we again talk about qualifying. I mean, look at our starters here. You got David Overstreet plus 16 in that 68 in second. Rick Seabrand's plus 16 in the 76 sitting in third. And like you mentioned, Randy Minor plus 20 in that fourth position. Yes. And then, plus 15 for Peter DeBorgia. So right now, 4 of our top 5 have gained 15 or more spots from where they qualified. Say with Keith Horner being the odd one out there, getting 5 spots to be our race leader right now. So, it's interesting. Again, I mean, we talked about kind of maybe being a bit of a procession, but definitely anything but early on here. As now Bud Steele is going to try to lead that outside line with help from that number 5 of JD Crow. But just right now, whatever it is, that inside line is it is stout right now, Matt.
Perhaps people have been trying to save fuel. I don't understand why. Being more patient just because it's Daytona. It's a mystery to me.
The one thought that it does cross my mind, if there's some fuel saving going on, would be the opportunity to maybe be able to take one of the pit stops without having to plug in that second can of fuel, or maybe you can get away with a 1 can stop in one of these 2 stints here. I think that would be the reason of any to save fuel, but whatever it may be, I say the drivers we know that are saving 0 fuel right now, that 37 Keith Horner, that 6 of Bud Steele, and probably the pushers as well, that 68 and the 5 of JD Crow. So I think they're pretty much, let's say, foot to the floor and just getting everything they're worth, as Bud's going to start to get just a nose ahead here in that number 6 machine. Not enough to clear entering 3, so right now the advantage is going to kind of go back to the inside lane, that shorter distance as we always talk about, but then we'll see how the momentum shifts to the outside. But a name we haven't talked about is starting to peek into the mix here, that number 89, Joshua Gathright. So I really like the paint scheme of that car, that really nice kind of shiny blue and black paint scheme there right behind Derek Walker. It's definitely one that it kind of catches your eye pretty quickly, pretty easily. It looks like Dubby on the side of that one. So I'm sure there's more info to that than we're not aware of. But it's a good looking paint scheme though. And right now he is holding just outside the top 10 in 11th here. I definitely haven't had a chance to talk about him so far this evening. But running right in the main pack here. Car looking pretty good. Don't see anything too standoutish damage wise. So hopefully that car's in one piece here.
In one piece.
That being said, Matt, we have passed the official window where you can make it on 2 stops for the first pit stop. But like you said, it looks like these guys opting to go further on this one. So we kind of speculated what the strategies would be, and that sounds like right now everybody's kind of thinking your strategy here, Matt. Just run long on this first one, and then maybe the second one's where you start to open up that short pitting or long pitting, as you see Bud Steele there take the lead in front of the 37.
Yeah, I think maybe I hit the nail on the head there. Hopefully no commentary first here. Keep my mouth shut.
I'll say, but so far so good. And again, just that inside line, just every so often, man. Yeah, I see a lot of drivers dropping low here, Matt. I think we might start to see some drivers duck off here. So let's watch here out of 4, see if we see anybody jump low. Nope, nothing yet. So. But I do see some drivers. It does kind of look like people are starting to get situated. So, again, on a scheduled green flag pit stop, they should be able to go to about lap 35. So that is 5 laps away. So it's not too far away from now. But usually you would see people pitting or starting to drop low in about another lap or 2. So, again, either these guys just want to make sure they don't get trapped up top, or I think we might see some drivers maybe at least try to pit a lap or 2 early. But what I do see is a little further back, though, Zach Workman. He's at danger of losing this draft here. He's got Bob Fitzgerald on his bumper, but you can see a lot of front-end damage to that Instacart car there. So, unfortunately, a lot of damage for Zach Workman. He tried to fix as much as he could, but right now he is starting to fall off that draft. So he might have to think about doing something different because he is just, unfortunately, he is in trouble in the 18 car.
The only thing I think really can help Zach is probably to maybe short field the next stop. Take too much time.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, Matt. I think the best option for him is to kind of pit a little early, and then from there, just maybe short fill a little bit, or just get real aggressive on the pit stop. So we'll see. Because again, we're getting just about to that pit stop point. So we'll keep an eye and see, kind of try to watch that 18, see how he sorts through. But I mean, yeah, he's lost the draft. You can see just the time, the ticking, and just going back and back and back. So. He might even be worth trying to short pit for that 18 car here at some point as well. But right now he's just trying to stick with his guns and hope he can hang on to it. And again, getting kind of some nice courtesy from Bob Fitzgerald there. But right now, though, I mean, we've got pretty much the entire field here, Matt, just single filed right now. So I think I saw one set of drivers peeking out to the outside. I think that might be the 74. Is that Robert Jordan? Oh no, Sebastian Marin. I'm sorry. I saw the kind of that bluish color. I thought it was the 74 car. No, it's actually the 23 of Sebastian Marin, and yeah, he's working to the outside of that number 5 of JD Crone. Actually, JD is starting to fall off of the main draft as well here. So, yeah, these guys are some of these cars with these damage that they're trying to just kind of limp along here. And actually, here comes a group on pit road now. JD Crow going to lead some teammates here, and it looks like pretty much a good chunk of the boot markers, a bunch of us sliding into the pits, but they all hang on to it. It looks like about 6 deep on these guys. So now they got in the pits. Hopefully everything was able to get in smooth at speed. Now they got to get in and out of their pit stalls quick and clean.
It looked like the 20th Derek Walker looked like he was kind of hesitant for a minute there, and just like at the last minute just changed his mind. We'll see what this next pack does see in response to those guys pitting there.
Yeah, you usually see a pretty quick response from those from the drivers up front. It looks like everybody clean pit stops, 8.5 to 9 seconds for those guys, and yet here comes the reaction there. You see, it's like it's going to be David Overstreet, Rick Seabrands, and it's going to be big group
mistakes.
Of cars. Oh, we got one mistake there. Randy Minor, Charles Johnson, just a little bit of contact. It looks like everybody else is getting through pretty well here, so that's a big chunk of drivers to hit pit road as well. But that's going to leave, it looks like, about 3 drivers here on their own to try to run this a little further. That's going to be Bud Steele, Keith Horner, and Sebastian Marin. A little surprised about this for the 23 car, but we know what kind of pit road entries he can get in that 23. So we'll watch these guys hit their pit entry because we know how deep these guys will send it on in there. So, but I presume we will see all 3 of these guys hit pit road this time as well. Yeah, yep, here they come.
Big thing, Gael. No penalties.
I like it. Yeah, there's Sebastian Marin. Hopefully, oh, that was hot there on entry. We'll see if he's able to get that away with that, but actually passed Bud Steele on the pit entry. So we'll see if Sebastian Marin able to get down to speed in time in that 23 around the 6 of Bud Steele there, as he and Keith Horner are on pit road. And that's going to now pretty much complete our green flag cycle. So what we got to wait and see for is going to be where our race leaders are in relation. Yep, clean stop for the 23. He is already down and away. He's got Bud Steele just off the screen there. Keith Horner, unfortunately, not the stop he was looking for. You can see he's down out in the distance, so he's not going to hook up with these guys. He's going to have to try to just hold on to the draft here. But now it's just managing that throttle as you have to drive through that very slick apron here. So this is where Sebastian Marin's drifting practice comes into play here. Always does a little bit of 4-wheel drifts through the turns here. What a pit stop by that 23 car. Say it's one of those ones, Matt, maybe almost too good for that 23. As he is stretched to almost 8/10 over Bud Steele, so they're not going to quite be hooked up together. And here comes that pack about to charge, being led by Rick Seabrands.
Yeah, it's a lonely film without no help, and Bud Steele, car right behind him, maybe have a little bit more help. Now he's going to get to the rear of him. Yeah, he's going to have.
Yeah, so what he can do right here is he should be able to tag onto the back of the 45 of Todd Siebels. And so I also got to mention Todd Siebels again. We talked about him just cruising at the back of the pack, trying to keep that car clean. He cycles out of this pit stop in the 5th position, so great stop by Todd there. again, say this is where Todd. This is a good opportunity to say be aggressive for a couple laps. Maybe try to lead a lap in that 45 car, and then maybe go back trying to keep that car clean to the end, because right now he's going to have his. Yep, there goes. Oh, the 23. He saw Todd try to throw a block there to try to get that push, but Sebastian going to go straight to that third lane here. But I think that was exactly what Todd's thinking, is he wants to try to lead this lap, get that bonus point, and it looks like they will wind up getting established together there, but definitely a close call there in the backstretch. But as we cross the line here, going to be lap 37 of 75. We'll be halfway next time by. And I think this is, I mean, it was definitely a close move there, but I think this is the right call for Todd here. Again, try to get that big push, wait for the momentum, and try to pick up on it. As you see, also picking up Derek Walker here, not too far behind. But I say for the 45, if he can just get this lap led in that 45 car, I think we might see him actually drop to the apron on the backstretch the next time by, and kind of, again, try to get back to a safe position here. So we'll see if he's able to get it at the line here, because it's going to be tight between he and Rick Seabrands, but it looks like he's got the nose ahead. Yeah, he'll easily lead this lap. So there's a lap led for that 45 of Todd Siebels. Drops to the inside in front of that 75 car. And what do you think, Matt? If you're a betting man, you think you're going to see that 45 on the apron here out of 2?
Yep.
All right, let's see if that's exactly what comes into play here. You see the 45. He's gonna hold. Actually, he's gonna. I thought the same. I thought he was just gonna drop straight to the bottom, but he's actually gonna hold station right now. As there goes the 23, getting the front there on the inside, able to clear with that push from Derek Walker. Oh yeah, a little close there between the 45 and the 20, but they're able to kind of get themselves sorted. I say that did cost the outside momentum a little bit there. You see Todd again. Actually, I think he said, you know what, I'm going after it from here on. So as we just crossed the halfway point, Todd Siebels now leading the outside line in front of Derek Walker. You got the 23 Sebastian Marin down low with Rick Seabrands as his pusher. Unfortunately, do have a couple cars, Matt, that lost the draft that pit stop cycle, including Les Levy and Robert Jordan. And obviously we knew about Zach Workman with his damage, and Randy Minor as well. So, yeah, so unfortunately those guys off the main pack. Also, the Bob Fitzgerald as well. So right now we've got pretty much, it looks like about 19 cars in this main pack on the lead lap here. And then those couple stragglers, unfortunately. And then we mentioned Jay Hilliard as well, a couple laps down in that 59. But it's across the halfway point a few laps ago, Matt, down to 36 to go. Again, about 10 laps away from that potential final green flag pit stop at the earliest. But we know those guys all can go just that little bit further should they choose to.
I was trying to look and see where all were the TW boys.
Oh, a little bit of contact there, right around. I think that was Mark Mann there.
Yes,
so they look like a little bit of contact mid-pack. Looks like everybody's okay, but say Mark, somebody, hey, you leave my Batmobile alone there. So right now, Mark holding pretty nicely here in that top 10 as well, and nice little spot right now where he is. But yeah, these guys are starting to get a little bit dicey, a little bit jumpy right now. And yeah, right now you see actually with all of that going on, Joshua Gathright, talked about him earlier. He's now jumped to the top side in that 89 car. He's going to try to get to the front of this race with help from Todd Siebels. And you see Derek Walker there thinking about that third lane, but he's got to be careful because if he doesn't commit sooner than later, yep, they're saying there goes that number 41, Peter DeBorgia. He's going to go straight to the inside. Yeah, and there goes the 5, there goes the 1. And that 20 car is going to feel like he just dropped like a rock.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Derek, but if it was just me, maybe he wants to drop to the back, or maybe that's just the decision that he wants to run third. But yeah, but look at Todd Siebels there.
Yeah, I think this Todd, he said, you know what, I've had my fun, now I'm going to do the same. So he's opted not to drop to the apron to do it. He's going to go to that third lane. I like this call by Todd. The apron's always a risky one. And he's going to slide in right behind that number 37 and the 07 he has. He was definitely flirting with the wall there, but all should be well. So he's going to go back and he's going to find some refuge with his TW Motorsports teammates there. That's going to be Robert Rock, Dean Wilkinson in that group as well. So, but up front though, as like I said, new face to this front pack though, Joshua Gathright. He's making a big push here with help from Peter DeBorgia. You got, I believe, at least 3, maybe of the 4. I'm not sure if the 89 is part of that team or not, but you got behind him, you got the 41, the 5, and the 1. We know those 3 are very potent when working together.
Yeah, I was kind of looking, when Todd Siebel was around, I was kind of looking where all the other TW boys were. I was kind of looking for where Charles Johnson was at.
Yeah, Charles he's decided to have a little bit of fun. Say again, Charles is one of those drivers. He's not much of a rider. He wants to push and he wants to be up front and going after these things. And so he's right in the thick of it here in that number 9, right around the 8th or so position, about the 5th car on the outside line there. He's got the 68 and the 94 behind him. So I mean, he's got plenty of help. As you see, there goes the 89. He clears the 23. He drops down to the inside line. This will be an opportunity for Peter DeBorgia if he can get a big push. I don't know if Peter's led a lap yet, but he'll definitely want to try to get one. As he's going to have plenty of pushing from J.D. Crow and Gabe Butler, I'm sure. But we'll see if Sebastian Marin, is he able to spoil that party and try to clear that second lane and jump up top. But right now the answer is no, staying pinned between that 41 and the 89 here. Oh, but he found an opening. He takes it. He's not going to hold off there. And again, I mean, Sebastian Marin, he doesn't get into these positions by backing into these races. I mean, he wants to be up front. He's going to try to be aggressive and lead. The problem he's got right now, though, is he did not have the push he needed from behind by that 41 car. That's going to let the 89 surge back forward here. As you see, they're working up to the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. This will put Bob 1 lap down here as they're going to come through him here through the tri-oval. Should be pretty safe here. It's through turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 we start to get a little bit nervous, but I think it should just about work itself out here. And yeah, they just a little just to the wall. He's all right though.
He's good.
He's just got to try to hold on to that draft, and so that's job number 1, is just to hang on to this draft. And I think Bob's going to be okay there. So, but yeah, back up front though, still Joshua Gathright leading. And right now, Sebastian Marin, he's leading the outside line, but you can see there's a visible gap between he and that 41 of Peter DeBorgia. So just Peter, either with that damage, just can't quite suck up as he needs to, or maybe also having to try to watch those temps a little bit as well after pushing that 68 to the front, or sorry, the 89, I'm sorry, to the front. So that's being said, Matt, here we're going to cross here, 30 to go this time by. That gives us about 5 more laps until that final pit window opens for fuel. One down on the apron.
Into the racetrack.
They're good.
They a little bit scary moment there.
They hung on to it. They're okay. But yeah, that was definitely a moment there. I believe that was Rick Seabrands and David Overstreet that had a little bit of a close call there. But man, these guys are starting to get pretty tight on each other, Matt. Looks like there's, again, the pushing and the kind of the drafts are getting a little tighter, staying a little squeezed a little closer together here. I say it's just the way these races go. They start to ramp up right around that pit stop window.
That's a driver's perspective. I usually do this about once a race, and where do I want to be at? Where I want to be Eric Roy right now. It's just right along in the playoffs.
Oh, we got trouble.
Oh, God, never mind.
Oh, man, David Overstreet, a big moment there in the 68. Actually went through.
Nice save. He saved that car. He's good.
Let's see if he can. I said the job now is, I don't know if he's going to be able to here. I think he's going to lose the draft. That's going to be a tough one for David. Let's go back here and take a look, see what happened to David Overstreet there in that 68. You can see him down behind the 76, I'm sorry, in the 23 next to him. And then at some point, that car just looks like maybe a little bit of, no, that car just, I think maybe caught the apron maybe, and that car just stepped out on him there. And yeah, unfortunately, you see solid hit to the cone there. But yeah, great save though to hang on to that thing and able to get it back there. And you can see backed it down because he knew he wasn't going to be able to make the turn there. Backed it down where he just had to do a little slide to get back out on track. But yeah, great job by David Overstreet as we jump back live here with Joshua Gathright leading the way. Unfortunately, the 68 has lost the draft, so unfortunately he's going to fall way back down the running order. But now as we get back live, look up front though, Matt. Charles Johnson just talked about trying to see where he was earlier. Yeah. He's going for the lead.
Slides up, slides down, as you'd say. Takes the lead.
Yep, takes the point in that 9. And so it's a good time to do it too, because right now there's only 2 cars on that outside lane towards the front there. The 82 of Dan Harrington, the 37, Keith Horner behind him. As late move there, they didn't look at that, jumps immediately in front of that 82 car. That was tight. These guys are either really trusting of their spotters, or they've got it dialed in on when to make that move to the top as soon as they possibly can, or as late as they possibly can, really, I should say. Because, man, these guys they're stepping up the aggression here as we're getting just about to that final pit stop window where the window opens. But, again, they can go probably another, roughly, I'd say, 5 to 10 laps past that should they choose to.
I think they're already there. I think some drivers are actually really thinking about coming in early. But I don't know. If I was a driver, I'd probably come around lap 52.
I'd want to save a couple laps just in case for a green light checker. That way you're not required to have to pit. So, to me, I think probably about 20 to go is probably about my ideal situation. But it's definitely calmed down up front once again, though. Like I said, you got the 3 up front running 2x2, then a lot of single file racing. So, like I said, Charles Johnson kind of timed it perfectly for when to make that big push to get to the front. So, now that he's got there, it's not as crazy as it was. And again, looking for teammates here, I see a fair number of the boot knockers together. You see the 41 just ahead of the 5 there. Then the 1 car is right there as well. And I do believe Cody Nagels, I think he's probably working with these guys tonight in the 06. Yeah. But then you got the 39 there of Jimmy Crow Jr. He's just kind of been cruising tonight. He hasn't really made any noise yet. We know Jimmy's got plenty of pace in that 39 as well. Then Eric Laurie right there as well. And then you go just a little bit further back, and there's the boot knocker brigade, or sorry, the TW Motorsports brigade, I should say. You got the 45, the 59, the 171, the 55, all lined up together here. I think they might be about ready to make their charge to get towards the front before that final potential green flag pit stop.
Like I said, I like where Cody's at right now. Just in case trouble come out, just sit there safely and waiting for the Gabe and pretty much out of trouble.
Yeah, right now
TW guys, they're starting to make their move. Look at Todd Siebels.
Yep,
getting
Todd.
That second lane going.
Yeah, exactly right. They said, and I think that's it. They want to make that charge before pit stops really start to kick off again. You want to pit, of course, as far forward as you can because, I mean, again, if you pit from the back, you're going to be basically pitting at about a 2-second deficit roughly. So the further up you can be when you pit, the better for, especially just to offset any little hiccups, and of course even an option to maybe try to see if you can break the draft a little bit. Maybe you can actually get a 5-4 car breakaway. We've seen it happen before. Definitely wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. But yeah, he has led that group up there. So he has worked his way up just to about the top 10 there in that 45 to the outside of Peter DeBorgia. I'd say he's going to about to probably hit a roadblock, though, of the 37 and the 82, though, Dan Harrington and Keith Horner.
And you see the 4 of them lined up there. Could be a plan. Well, here they come.
Yeah, early pit stop for a lot of these drivers. A little late, some late calls. Looks like, we got a little hot there. There's a couple hot entries there, but looks like everybody's able to get into pit road safely. Don't know if they sped or not, but now it's all about hitting your pit stalls, making sure you don't overshoot. Oh, Mark, man, you can see there a little bit too much rear brake in that car as they all start to hit pit road. So that was Sebastian Marin overshoots his pit stall. I think the 20 Derek Walker, I don't think he actually got that car serviced either. He's already rolled out and away. But it looks like they're all going to come out pretty well together here. Looks like it's going to be Rick Seabrand's the one to win that race off of pit road. So now we go back up front here as the leaders are coming out of turn 4. Do we see a quick reaction response? The answer is yes. Here they come. That's only 2 drivers stay out here. They're going to feel very lonely right now. But here they come. Here comes Josh. Oh, the 59 loose. He's going to spin it. He spun it to the outside, though, so I think that's about the best case scenario for Jay Hilliard you can do there to try to avoid hurting anybody else around you. But tough break for Jay there. So that's going to bring these guys all onto pit road. That's going to leave 2 drivers here. Again, these guys are going to feel very lonely because they're not going to have the pace that they need to with just the 2 of them, of Dan Harrington and Keith Horner. So basically, Keith's just got to push like there's no tomorrow, basically, in that number 37. And I'm pretty sure we'll probably see them pit this time because they just can't risk to lose any more time here.
No, exactly right. We saw what happened to Keith Horner after that first pit stop. He lost a ton of time after going for the lead, and he dropped to about 15th. Oh, he got a little bit hot. Oh, boy.
Little bobble there, hopefully able to get it down in time. But we're going to jump up front because right now our race leader is now going to cycle around to Randy Minor here. These guys have yet to pit also here. So right now about the top, looks like about top 7. As I say that, here comes Randy. He's going to come in on his own. That's going to put Zach Workman to the front here in that number 18 car. Again, I think these guys are just completely off cycle. And again, I think ones that lost the draft during that first green flag pit stop. So running along for these guys, I think, makes perfect sense. So I would definitely do exactly what these guys are doing right now. I believe once pit stop's complete, our net leader will most likely be right around this Joshua Gathright, Charles Johnson grouping. As you see, also Todd Siebel starting to get up front there in that 45 car. But looking for Keith Horner there. He is. He's rolling out of pit road now, out of turn 2. And I think he's going to be okay here. I think he and Dan Harrington did just enough here that they may not come out with the lead, as here comes the fielder. Yep. Oh, we got contact. Oh, wrecked on the backstretch. We got a caution. Is out. Big wreck in the backstretch. Keith Horner about perfect as, for the timing of that yellow, as he saw it happen out his back, at the back view of that 37 car. And so he gets through. Unfortunately, others not so lucky. And also a great break for those that had yet to pit there, as again, they were way off sequence, so it's a good break for those guys. Let's go back, though, because unfortunately, I'd say it was just, again, a lot of drivers in different positions here and kind of different speed differences. And yeah, you can see already these guys were trying to go 4 wide here, Matt. You had Dan Harrington there on the inside, and the 82 was getting up to speed. But then everybody else was just, again, trying to figure out where to take that momentum. And unfortunately, it looks like we'll try to see where the squeeze happens here. And it was like the 45 actually. I'm not sure how it kicked off, but 45 into the 9. And then from there, just everybody's going to try to stagger to try to find a way to get clear of all of this. And I believe Sebastian Marin somehow makes it through all of this craziness. But yeah, there's Charles Johnson. He takes a big shot. Rick Seabrands, I'm sorry. Looks like the 39 you see as well. So unfortunately, there goes the incident-free race, though, for Todd, unfortunately. So that's going to kind of change everything for him. But yeah, so tough break for a lot of those guys. Again, just the closing rate. Everybody was in kind of different momentum spots. So, however, up front, though, again, those guys had not pitted. Here they come now, and that's going to be Zach Workman, Les Levy, David Overstreet, Robert Jordan, Josh Gathright. He's going to hit pit road as well. But yeah, Keith Horner, though, he's going to cycle through with this one. Again, just the timing of that yellow and where he was on track was just about perfection for him. And honestly, this isn't going to be a bad break for Zach and them, because right now you've got pretty much all but the top 6 that stayed out here. It's very feasible this number 18 car is going to roll out of pit road here in the top 10.
Man, some of those guys, tough break, especially playoff guys. But the real winners probably going to come out is probably Sebastian Marin.
Yeah, Sebastian, that was as close as you could probably be of the wreck to not be actively in it. And then, you were the top of 4 wide. That's never a good place to be. But so you got Gabe Butler, you got Cody Nagel. So there's 3 of our top 8 in the points there, still in that top 10. They'll say, unfortunately, the ones that aren't as lucky going to be JD Crow rolling out of pit road there. He was involved, as was Eric Laurie, as you see there on pit road as well. And of course, notably Todd Siebels as well, as he was the last playoff driver incident free, not anymore. And also Peter DeBorgia here coming out in that 41 car. So he had about a 33-second pit stop. So I think, again, the question mark is who has and who does not have fast repairs left in their arsenal, if you will. You can see that 41 still has some pretty good damage to the back. So I think he's still okay here. But yeah, we're going to restart this thing, Matt, here. We should get the 1 to go, which means we will restart this thing with 17 to go. Again, at this point now, fuel out of the question. At this point, it's just going to be a dash to the finish here. Talked about probably not seeing a lot of 3 wide. We saw a little bit of it, but hadn't seen a lot of it yet. I think it's about time where we're going to start to see that 3rd lane become very popular.
Yeah, we saw 4 lanes, and that was a really tough squeeze there. And it's unfortunately that's just pretty much just a racing incident. But oh boy, 3 wide at Daytona here, iRacing. I'm just gonna hold my breath.
Yeah, that's probably what some of these guys are going to do too. But I mean, and that's exactly it. It wasn't that anybody was forcing anything crazy. It was just unfortunate circumstances that at the time where those drivers were, you had one driver coming out of the pits building up speed. And I mean, he can't just go sit on the apron because at some point he's going to have to basically be on track and start merging, just due to the fact that if he goes into the apron in turn 3, he's just going to wash up and take anybody out next to him. So it's just, yeah, I mean, again, it's a tough situation to be in. They almost had it work, didn't quite pan out, unfortunately. But I'll say it looks like pretty much everybody's still on track. I think the one retiree out of all that, unfortunately, was Jimmy Crow Jr. Duty mentioned, unfortunately, a fair bit earlier, Robert DuPont had retired early around lap 10. So, or not lap 10, sorry. He pitted around lap 10, but he has retired, unfortunately, and is in 26th and last. And as we mentioned, unfortunately, Jimmy Crow Jr. also now retired from this event. So, up front, though, Matt, Keith Horner, Sebastian Marin are front row. Gabe Butler, Cody Nagels, row number 2. And Bud Steele and Dean Wilkinson going to be row 3. As we're going to get this thing back to go here with 17 laps remaining. Everybody's good to go on fuel at this point. It's just going to be an outright dash to the finish as that number 37 takes the field back to green. Already seeing Zach Workman peeking up to that third lane, Matt. So again, it's going to be early, it's going to be often, but right now Zach doesn't have any help yet. But at some point, you know, people are going to start to think about that as well. So, but again, what's going to happen is everybody's going to want to be the one to lead that third lane. So that's going to be, again, the fight where we see someone jump out. Maybe they kind of ditch you and then they jump up in front of you. And so you're going to see a lot of gamesmanship here in these final laps. But right now it's Keith Horner here leading the way. And unfortunately, it looks like Derek Walker has had to hit pit road here. I think he was the lucky dog or was able to get his lap back, but unfortunately it's something maybe a pit penalty or not sure what, but unfortunately for Derek having to hit pit road unscheduled. So unfortunately that's going to drop him out of contention for the moment. But again, there's lots of racing to go, and it's aggressive 100%. Racing to go. As here comes that third lane, Zach Workman. He is leading the charge. He's got JD Crow behind him. Here comes Peter DeBorgia. It was only a matter of time. We knew that third lane was going to form, and here they come here, coming to 15 to go this time by.
Ooh, Zach Workman was desperately trying to get that third lane working.
I mean, he's worked himself up. Oh, you see Gabe Butler there. Sebastian Marin made a big move to the inside. Gabe tried to block, wasn't going to be able to get there quick enough. And he's going to start to drop a little bit here until he picks up Cody Nagels. But right now, though, those top two have got a small breakaway here. Now, does Keith Horner stay committed to that 23? Do we see Keith jump up? And there's your answer. He's going to jump to the outside. He's going to pick up Bud Steele as well for good measure. Sebastian Marin's going to feel like he just dropped a parachute in that 23 car. Keith Horner is going to go back to the front here in that 37.
That's a smart move by Bud Steele there. Knowing that them boot knockers are working together. Hopefully Bud Steele and Keith Horner can work together here. Since they pretty much don't have any teammates, you know, what can you have? But look at the run by Bud Steele getting a push from Gabe Butler down the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that third lane. That third lane is starting to make some headway now.
Yeah, big push by the 18 and the 5, trying to get to the front. Oh, contact up front. No. They almost had it held on too. We got a couple starting to slide up. There we go. Yep, we got. Oh, Gabe's around. You see him. Caution is back out. The 5 involved as well. We saw the 1 there. I think I saw the 76. Yep, there he goes through the grass. They're going for it. Unfortunately, did not quite work out for them, and that's going to put us back under yellow here, just outside of just inside of 15 to go. Tough break again. It's saying, it's just again. I mean, it's going to be full aggression here to the end. So let's go back here and take a look to see where this all kicked off, because you can already see. Actually, it looks like it may have been just the push between the 6 and the 1 maybe just got the 1 a little bit unsettled. We'll back it down a little bit more here, and we'll actually hop on the roof of that number 1 of Gabe Butler. So we're going to watch here. As you can see, we're watching on board with Gabe Butler here. Is behind the 6 of Bud Steele, And you can see it again. I mean, Bud's really squeezed up on the 30. Oh, actually, no, it's the 37 and the 6 that made the contact. Slows the 6's momentum down, and Gabe just has nowhere to go at that point. And then that's where, unfortunately, for JD Crow, he gets a piece of it. And then for a moment, Gabe looks like he's going to be okay. But then he gets contact with the 74 there. And then, yeah, that just unfortunately sets the car a little bit off. And around the one goes, and unfortunately into the path of a couple of the drivers like the 6, and then you'll see here shortly it's like the 62, the 5, the 41. Yeah, just tough break for these guys here, but
yeah,
hopefully fast repairs are saved. Hopefully they can make something happen there. You see Eric Laurie, quick move to jump get through those guys. So let's jump back live here once again, Matt, as the field is coming through turns 3 and 4. Don't think we'll see a lot of our front runners taking pit road here. Probably mostly will be drivers that have some damage wanting to hit pit road. So we'll take a look and see. And it looks like got the top 3 going to stay out, and then a bunch of takers on pit road. So we'll step away here for a moment, get our breaths, and get ready to go here for our potentially final restart here with just about 10 to go. So stay tuned, everyone. All right, as you can see, lights are off the pace car. Do need to mention free pass goes to the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. That puts him back onto the lead lap here, which will leave us now 22 drivers on the lead lap. Right now, Derek Walker, unfortunately, still sitting 1 down. Jay Hilliard 4 down. As mentioned earlier, retirees, though, unfortunately, as well, of Jimmy Crow Jr. and Robert DuPont. So up front here, we're going to restart with 10 to go on the dot. And I mean, it's anybody's game here for kind of who's got what right now on the side of help, really. I mean, teams are all pretty shaken up right now, so it's gonna be fun to see what they got in this potentially final restart here. Let's restart with 10 to go. And to answer your question, Kevin, they all get 1 fast repair available to them. Some drivers opt to try to save it, obviously, until they absolutely have to take it. So we will see who has what left. I did see, definitely a lengthy pit stop by JD Crow, so either out of fast repairs or trying to save it still. It looks like Bud Steele actually still sitting on pit road, so that 6 car not going to probably be able to get back on the lead lap here. Probably get knocked down a lap, unfortunately. So that being said, though, pace car is about to duck back in. It's going to hand it over to our leader, the 37 car. He's got this decision early, late, or wait for the green. He's going to wait for that green flag here. As he gets underway here, starts to get through the gears. Just got to be careful not to get too big of a margin over Sebastian Marin there. And then where does he go? Does he stay committed to the inside? Does he jump to the outside in front of Zach Workman? We'll see what his decision is out of turn 2.
I say probably Sebastian Marin probably jump out in front of Zach Workman.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be in Keith's best interest to try to
there
go
it
top.
is.
And yeah, as I say, a little too late there, unfortunately. As here comes right behind, though, it's going to be the Mark Mann, though. We talked about that Batmobile. He's starting to give that 37 a push here. Will not be able to
Look
clear.
at Todd Siebel is trying to make the third lane work.
Yeah, Todd's going to go for that third lane. He's got to find help. He's got a teammate, but he's on the inside of him, Charles Johnson. So right now, Todd's going to feel like the odd man out there in that 45. As we're going to get down to single digits here, Matt. 9 to go. Right now, Keith Horner, Sebastian Marin leading that front group.
Look at the touch between the 45 and the one car of Gabe Butler there. That was very close.
Yeah, looks like Todd's able to sneak in just in front of the 74 of Robert Jordan there. So he will be able to regain just outside the top 10 right now. But right now, everybody's staying 2x2. And again, I think they got to kind of build that momentum back up before that third lane can really make the charge. But the question I have is going to be, where does that third lane come from? I don't know who's going to be the one to lead it. Because again, I don't see any really organization from these drivers up top there. I mean, we saw Todd Siebel's try. He didn't get help from the 9 car. Gabe Butler, he has no teammates around him right now up on the outside line. And look at Sebastian Marin. He's going to work both lanes here. He's going to jump in front of the 18 car, saw Zach Workman. So he saw the momentum shift, I think, and he's actually jumped back up top there as he was cleared of the 37 a little bit earlier. And here's your answer. It's going to be Gabe Butler and Todd Siebels. They're going to kind of, Todd's actually just kisses the wall there in entry. That's going to separate them a little bit here. As that's going to probably drop Gabe a little bit to try to have to regroup. And you can see everybody starting to kind of, again, just jockey around and try to figure out where they need to position their cars. But right now, Sebastian Marin, he's going to try to work these lanes here to perfection and see if he hasn't got a win yet in these playoffs, but is our points leader in-ring tonight. And he would love to cement his points lead into next week's finale with a big win this evening. As you see there, he's going to try to put a block on the 37, timed it perfectly there. Keith Horner had no choice but to stay in line. But now there goes the 18, Zach Workman. He's going to jump to the top 3 wide.
Lots of movement up front.
Yeah, but no help for Zach until now. Gabe picks him up here, but we're going to go 3x3 for the lead here. 37.76 on the middle.
Oh, we got a big wreck behind.
So far, no yellow. We stay green, Matt, so we'll keep an eye up front. But you're right. Yeah, trouble in the back here. Looks like Les Levy, Cody Nagels was involved as well. But yeah.
Oh, no. Playoff contender.
Yeah. And so, yeah, but we stayed green. So whatever happened, everybody stayed pointing in the right direction. But yeah, it looks like Joshua Gathright also was involved in that one. So yeah, so we stay green. But again, look at that 23 car just having to try to work both lanes here. Hopped in front of the 37 car. That's going to give Mark Mann an opportunity. Now he's going to take the lead here at the start-finish line. 6 to go.
Right now, if I was a playoff driver, I'd be scared to run that third lane. If I was sitting in Todd Siebel's seat right now, I would probably jump to the bottom lane right about now. That I would be scared to death, knowing it's about 6 to go here, and plenty of laps to go. And it's just yeah, I like to be where the let's see, where are you? 68. I would like to be where the 68 car is at right there.
I say if you got a fast repair left in your bank, I'd say at this point it's going to be use it or lose it here. So I'm saying you stay full aggression because I think that's what you're going to have to do to win this race.
We are seeing it now, and I'm kind of like almost standing up here, cringing here.
Oh, no, these guys are, they're going after, like I said, Sebastian Marin. He is working this draft here. He was leading the middle lane. He saw the momentum shift to the inside. He jumps low to prevent that from pushing past him. That's got him to Mark Mann. And Dean Wilkinson again puts a late block, but able to hold on to that position. Sebastian doing everything he can here to win this race. So he is just trying to work every lane he can, but he's got to be almost absolute perfection. Once again, saw the momentum shift to Dean Wilkinson. He drops low in front of Dean. But now Dean might have an opportunity. Does he jump high out of turn number 4? If he's clear of that 094, I can't quite tell. He's going to jump up top. Dean's going to go to the inside here. But look at that big push off of turn. Oh, bobble. Get him a little
look
bit.
Look at the 18 car after the third lane. Look at all that momentum from Gabe Butler.
Yeah, they're coming up on JD Crow. I presume we'll probably see JD drop to the apron here because otherwise this is going to get very sketchy here very quickly.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's going to drop the apron late. Hopefully he's able to get it low down there. That was tight there, but JD just able to let them on by there. Oh, that was a heart in your throat moment there. But
yes, sir.
Oh, man. But up front, though, like you said, yeah, 18 Zach Workman, he is working that third lane here with Gabe Butler. But, man, Sebastian Marin, he's just working every single line he can, just doing everything he can. Like I said, I think he knows that this could be a very big win if he can get it here tonight to possibly almost not clinch, but really help his chances and feel very comfortable coming into the finale next week, as we're down to 3 to go here, Matt. And at this point, man, it is anybody's guess.
It looked like that Batmobile was trying to jump up to the third lane. That would probably be the smart thing.
Oh, contact in
we
the back.
got a wreck behind. They got it.
I think we're okay.
They saved it. Yep, they're good.
Still got one drifting it through. That's Robert Rock. He's gonna hang on to it there, and yet we stay still clean and green. I think Peter DeBorgia had a little moment involved in that as well, but still going on. And while this is all going on, I'd say with that move, what we saw by the 23 jump to the middle, that allowed Dean Wilkinson to be the leader of the inside line on the 55. He's got Dan Harrington as his pusher. So right now that inside line holding pretty strong here as we're contact. Oh, contact, big contact. Johnson. Caution's going to come out here just before we get to the 2 to go. Mark Mann unfortunately involved. Todd Siebels, Gabe Butler, Zach Workman as well. It's like Keith Horner actually may have got sent through the pits there in that 37 car. So we're going to have green-white checkered, Matt. We're going to get into that overtime here. As you see, the pace car is going to work to catch up to that 23 of Sebastian Marin. So let's go back here and take a look to see what happened here to bring out this yellow. It just felt, you could just feel it. It just seemed like it was a matter of time there towards those closing stages. But let's go back here. We'll take a look as they were coming out of turn number 4. And it's just, again, I think just, again, a lot of movement, a lot of, you see, oh, yeah, right there, a little bit of net code, but unfortunately it still involves or causes some contact. I think it was Charles Johnson and Keith Horner. And unfortunately that collects also then the 094 there of Mark Mann into Workman. Then Horner gets another piece of it there. And you see Gabe Butler and Todd Siebels. Actually, Todd
had no damage come out.
I think he actually was able to get on the brakes quickly here. So maybe a little bit at the very, very end here. But yeah, great job on the brakes by this 45 car. So actually, as they watch his mirror there, he got one blow right by him. So yeah, Todd quick on the brakes there. So hats off to him on that one. And then, yeah, so unfortunately got a couple that had to go a little bit off track through all of that. Yeah, and there's Keith Horner sliding through the grass. So let's jump back live here, Matt, as we have pretty much most of the field staying out once more. Looks like Peter DeBorgia going to lead the field onto pit road. I believe, let's see. Not sure if that was maybe a faster pair in the 41 car or what, but he's down and away pretty quickly there. But it is a break for a couple of those drivers that had lost the draft, like Cody Nagels, for instance. That's going to bring him back into this thing as well. So it hasn't been a good night for him, but hopefully maybe a late turnaround. And then I believe the caution beneficiary is going to be JD Crow. And I mean, again, he's a playoff driver, but he is rolling a modified right now, unfortunately. But
oh my goodness gracious!
I mean, we've seen crazier than, yeah, he's got the front clip gone, the rear clip gone, but he is sticking with it, and I applaud him for that because, again, he was second in points coming into tonight, so he's got to stay aggressive. And again, I mean, if there's a late crash on the white flag, it might say if it's a big crash, he might be able to steal a couple more spots and maybe even get towards the top 10, top 15. So. You never know with this, but up front, though, what's going to be on this restart here, Matt, is we're going to have Dean Wilkinson as our race leader, and then next to him will be that 23 of Sebastian Marin. Dan Harrington will be third, and then you've got Charles Johnson right behind him, fourth, and then Rick Seabrand is going to be our top 5. So, again, talked about the comers and goers. Right now, Sebastian Marin, the only driver that started in the top 10 currently one of our 2 drivers starting in the top 10 currently in the top 10. Sebastian Marin, of course, in second, and Gabe Butler in 7th. Everybody else has gained almost double digits positions from 10 to 20 to 13 to 14. I mean, these guys have just, yeah, it's been definitely a wild one here tonight. So we're going to get the 1 to go this time around, Matt, and that's going to hand it over to Dean. But now, what do you do for the 55? You have a teammate near you of Charles Johnson, but you're going to be split on the lines. Dan Harrington's been shown as a pretty good pusher here, so I mean, do you just kind of protect the yellow and kind of just run the shortest distance, or do you feel like you need to be in that second lane to be in the best spot to win this race?
Well, I would not like to be behind Sebastian Marin because I don't know. Something about him. He's a little trickster. If that third lane gets going, he might jump up front of there. But knowing Charles Johnson, he's a hell of a pusher. But knowing your teammate is running in the first spot, do you actually push the 23? Me as a teammate would say no.
And that is a good point. I mean, there could be gamesmanship in this stuff. I mean, of course, you want to get the best result you can, but if it helps a teammate by maybe not pushing as hard as you could, that other driver on the outside line. I mean, we've seen stuff like that happen before. Or do we see an opportunity where maybe Dean tries to do something a little bit different to maybe try to find a way to pick up Charles here on this restart? I mean, you can see not too far back, Todd Siebels, Randy Minor, they're still together. They're actually lined up in that outside line together, so that would be a good potential for some drivers to make that third lane happen. But yeah, we're going to definitely see some big moves and some big blocks again. This is attempt number 1. We do have 3 attempts should we need them, so we'll see how many it's going to take here to get to the finish. This will be attempt number 1 as the pace car ducks off. Is going to hand it over to Dean Wilkinson, who has full control of the field. And it looks like he's going to wait for that green flag to fly. We are down and away. Green white checkered attempt number 1 here at Daytona. Excuse me.
Daytona, Kyle.
Daytona Talladega. I'm too excited.
Well, I don't think Charles is pushing at 23. I think he's kind of electing not to.
He's close. Yeah, he's not completely locked bumpers like Dan Harrington is. And again, while these guys, if there's a little bit of gamesmanship, this could be a Dan Harrington opportunity. If you can push yourself clear of that 23 Sebastian Marin, you jump out in front of him. You try to see if you can get yourself a win here again. I mean, this is a good opportunity. These playoff drivers, they got to think about points and all of that. So Dan's got a good opportunity here. He might be able to clear his 23 out of 4. He is clear. Does he stay committed to that 55? Does he jump to the top? Right now, he's staying committed here. And it looks like we will get to that white flag, Matt. So 1 to go here.
Yep.
Attempt number 1 is going to be the only attempt we need. Now, who gets that checkered flag first?
Oh, Dean is thinking about jumping up to the top. He thought about it for a second there. But the 9 of Charles Johnson is stick right to the rear bumper of the 23 car.
Yeah, here comes Todd Siebels with help from Peter DeBorgia. At this point, it's going to be, I think, just whoever can get the best push where. And so for Dan Harrington, he's going to stay locked on. He's definitely got connection there. A little bit of separation between the 9 and the 23. Right now, it's just a nose ahead for that 55
Oh,
team.
look at that third lane of Todd Siebels trying to make it interesting.
Todd, a little bit of a bobble at 74 there, squeezing him just a little bit. It is going to be tight out of turn number 4. And we got contact in the back. It looks like we got most of the top 5 all involved in it. At the line, though, it is going to be too close to call.
Dean got it?
I believe it's going to be Dean Wilkinson. We'll go back. We'll take a closer look at that and the wreck. But our top 5 is going to be Dean Wilkinson, Sebastian Marin, Dan Harrington, Charles Johnson, and Joshua Gathright. And then from there on, it's just who was able to get to the start-finish line first at the wreck at the finish. So let's go back here. Let's take a look at the incident towards the back of the field. And you see Todd Siebels already back and around there. So let's go back a little bit here. And I think Peter DeBorgia, I mean, it's definitely nothing of doing wrong, just giving it everything you can. Just a little bit off center there. And yeah, unfortunately spins the 45 round, which then catches the 74 car of Robert Jordan. And then from there, everybody's just going to try to find. Look at Joshua Gathright just cut straight to the right there, or to the left, I should say, able to sneak underneath it. But then behind them, I mean, yeah, these guys are just looks like human pinballs behind them. Oh, Mark, man, he's up and over in that Batmobile. Not what he was looking for. And then everybody else just trying to see if they can get to that finish line. We see Gabe Butler and Robert Rock. They make contact. As I look at Cody Nagels out of this, he was behind all these guys at the restart. He's going to just find a way to slide his way through up into the top 10 into 8th. So not too bad of a last lap for that number 06 cars. Look at, there's the 171. He just sneaks on by there. So then now let's look one more time at the finish here as we'll speed things up just a little bit as we get towards the start-finish line. We'll back it down once more. And here is how close it was between that 55 and the 23. and it's going to be right there. That's how close it was at the line. Dean Wilkinson just about a nose ahead there. And it looks like also Dan Harrington going to be just a nose ahead of Charles Johnson to get that podium here tonight as well. So with that, Matt, we got some drivers to chat with. But before we get to that, let's pull up our final results for tonight. As it's going to be Dean Wilkinson, our winner there by just over 100th of a second over Sebastian Marin, Dan Harrington, Charles Johnson, Joshua Gathright. We mentioned our top 5. And then it looks like Les Levy able to get to the start-finish line first of those involved in that incident there in 6th. And Eric Laurie, Cody Nagels, Robert Rock, Gabe Butler. And then unfortunately those a little bit outside the top 10, including Mark Mann, Todd Siebels, David Overstreet, Randy Miner, Rick Seabrands, JD Crow, Zach Workman, and Peter DeBorgia there. So definitely not the result he was looking for in 18th. And then the remainder of our finishers here tonight, Robert Jordan, Derek Walker, Bob Fitzgerald, Bud Steele, Jay Hilliard, Keith Horner, Jimmy Crow Jr., and Robert DuPont in 26th. All right, now with that, let's go find some drivers to chat with. And we're gonna
got one for you.
Kick it off with a Mr. Dan Harrington in that number 82. And it wasn't the night that his teammate was looking for, but Dan was able to get a good result here tonight. And I mean, how do you? I mean, also I got to also congratulate you, Dan. Highest climber plus 20 tonight from 23rd to 3rd. Those late restarts, I mean, it was definitely a wild one here tonight. I mean, how do you manage those late restarts and just knowing that you're in that kind of position? It's like, all right, well, I'm kind of pinned to the inside. Is it just basically just kind of push whoever's in front of you and see if maybe something opens up for you at the end? Or, I mean, just kind of how do you go through those late restarts to try to give yourself your best chance to add a win, or of course, worst case, your best result you can get?
Well, first off, I feel for Derek. I've been in that position way too many times where it's just like I'm there, I just cannot get my lap back. But yeah, that's really rough. I was really pulling for him. But when you get to all those late restarts, you just got to remember just to breathe, stay calm. The first thing is you got to get the car to the end to have that chance. So. The one nice thing about being on the inside line is you're kind of pinned in there, but you have that way out if things go sideways, But you just have to just be there. If there's someone in front of you, go ahead and push them. And just look for that opportunity.
Yeah, and I kind of share the sentiment there. I say I know a lot of drivers kind of feel like you got to be in that second or third lane to have a chance to win. You want the momentum up top, but at the same time, like I'm kind of with you. It's like if something happens, you're on the low side, you can kind of make that sharp left and try to sneak through those incidents at the end. And obviously, you didn't need it there on the final restart there, but I mean, you did everything you had to do. And is it one of those ones on the restart where kind of once you get to the white flag, are you just kind of ignoring your water and oil temperature gauges? Or are you still trying to kind of watch that wall, staying fully focused on that rear bumper of that car in front of you? I mean, how do you kind of balance those ones too?
These things can be so unpredictable when it comes to that. I've heard of people detonating even though the light never flashed for their temperature. I mean, it's just something where it's just like, all right, the white flag is out. This thing's going to be over no matter what happens. Just stay in it, and whatever will be, will be. I mean, more times than not, you're good. You can push as hard as you can for that very last lap, as long as you're not already blinking. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's time. It's do or die.
Yeah, but and you were able to make it happen. As I'm sure we'll have a very happy interviewee that was just a car ahead of you there at the end. But you're able to also push yourself up to make sure you got that top 3 as well. So I mean, it was an awesome job tonight, Dan, to get, like I say, keep yourself in contention, be the highest climber as well. So a little bit of everything tonight from you. So definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for that podium tonight.
Cool, thank you.
So I don't know, do you have any sponsors or fans or supporters that you want to give a shout out to or anything?
Yeah, well, let's shout out the wife for letting me do this. And Then the main sponsor in the car, Transmissions Podcast. They are a podcast that talks all about Transformers media, toys, all that stuff. So if you're a fan of Transformers too, check out transmissionspodcast.com. And as always, check out the view from the 82 over at twitch.tv/DemonTech82.
So I have to hunt you down there. As I don't think I've been following you on Twitch, so I'm gonna have to do so.
Just check it out on the back of the car.
I'll go find you. So great job tonight, Dan. It was again a really, really exciting one. Looking forward to seeing you next week in the finale. So enjoy this one, man, and I'm sure we'll talk soon. So great job tonight.
All right, thanks.
All right, that's gonna bring us now to our runner-up in that number 23. And man, to say it was not for a lack of an effort would probably be an understatement here tonight, because Sebastian, you were doing absolutely anything and everything in your power to try to stay as that front car at the field there during those last kind of the last portion of the race there before the late yellow. I mean, you were working both lanes. You would just time the move from the bottom to the middle. If those drivers try to jump to the outside of you, just to perfection, where just they had no choice but to give you that extra little push there. I mean, how nerve-wracking is that? I mean, how just on top of your game do you have to be able to make those timings as accurately as you're able to do there?
Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking. Yeah, you definitely have to be on top of your game, knowing if you're clear, knowing when to go up, right? Because if you miss time when you go up, you can really check up your lane or even cause a wreck, because the momentum in certain spots where it's created. So yeah, I made the moves that I thought were good. I feel like I got a little fortunate that the guys behind me at times were clear in the third and could have taken the run and probably easily cleared me and then shuffled me mid-pack, but they didn't. So I guess I'm thankful for that. But I was kind of running a bit solo. I'm talking with Steve and with him, and that he's coming back. So I'm doing most of my races with him because he likes watching me. So I've been running solo a little bit. So I knew it was going to be hard staying out front. So I was trying to control the field as much as I could. And I felt good being on the lane that I was there on that last restart. It's just Charles never really got the help from behind that we needed. And then at the end, when they wrecked, they had 3 cars on the bottom versus 2. And being slightly ahead coming off of 4, I was never going to get it back because it naturally side drafted them back by me. And I mean, it was close. It was a good race, solid points. Main contenders for the championship had a rough night. So point standings looking pretty good, and seeing if we can close this championship out.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to make too. Is like you said, I mean, obviously on the championship side, a great points night for you because unfortunately your closest competitor finishes in 16th. Vicente was actually is on vacation, so I'd say that one's a non-issue. So then you drop back to Eric Laurie in third. They're 31 points out, and then Gabe Butler in fifth there, 33 points out. Then you look, I mean, Eric finishes in 7th, and then Gabe finishes in 10th. So yeah, you're still going to gain on those guys. So, I mean, obviously no lead is comfortable, and I mean, we got to mention also, I mean, yes, you haven't won in the playoffs, but I mean, this is 3 runner-ups in a row in these playoffs, and 3 out of the 4 now, say, of course, next week being the 4th and final race. I mean, that's some pretty impressive numbers to do here, like I said, when the pressure is building up like it has.
Yeah, obviously I want that win, but like you said, having these great finishes, these great point stays, in the end is hopefully what's going to help me seal the championship. So if I do, I mean, I can't be too upset. I think a lot of people might rather have a championship than wins, or vice versa. Some guys rather have wins than a championship. So I think I'd rather go for the championship, so I'm happy with that. Obviously, I want to win, but if in the end it gets me the championship, I'll be happy with finishing second any day of the week.
I'd be more happy with the wins. That's just me. I'm not a plate racer. You're a very smart plate racer. So championships are like what, unnatural to you?
Yeah, a bit. I've when you lose some, you kind of learn from them. So I think over the past year or so, I've learned what to do and what not to do in certain situations, how to stay out of trouble, and how to find myself in the end at the right time. So.
Yeah, you were definitely near some trouble tonight. I mean, the top of a four-wide situation that unfortunately that brought up the yellow, but you're able to just sneak by that one. You had a couple. I mean, you had a couple of really close calls. I'd say, unfortunately, of course, not able to get the incident-free race, which I don't believe anybody was able to, at least of the playoff drivers. But I mean, just again, a great run. Like I said, 3 run-ups in a row. I mean, it's a very, very impressive run of late. And I mean, like I said, of course you want to get the wins. And, well, I mean, you've got one more, so you can try to finish off with style next week at Talladega. But before we let you prep for that one, I say definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for that runner-up this evening.
Yeah, I know I'm not running with them necessarily in these past few weeks, but I'll thank the boot knockers. Racing with them racing with Gabe and those guys have really taught me, some things for plate racing. So I feel like thanks to them is how I've matured as a driver. So I want to thank them. I want to thank you guys for putting on this broadcast. I'll probably be rewatching it with Steve because he was watching both the broadcast and me streaming it. So I know he's probably listening in, having a good time. And thank you to TW and Area 51 for putting on this league. I've really enjoyed this Sunday one. Like I've said before, it's just a really nice, relaxing, fun league to me. I just have a lot of fun racing here. So yeah, I want to thank TW and Area 51 again, and hopefully we can close the championship next race.
All right, man. Go enjoy this one, and yeah, good luck next week. I say it's gonna be fun to see, and if this is relaxing, I'd be afraid to see what's wild for you. So, but yeah, great job tonight, Sebastian. Look forward to seeing you go after that title next week.
Thank you.
All right, Matt. That leaves us one driver left to chat with. That's going to be a very happy number 55 of Dean Wilkinson. And I believe maybe be able to get some prize money. Might be able to put some paint on that car because unfortunately it looks like it's just kind of bare metal on that number 55, Dean. But whatever it was, it worked tonight. And I mean, it was a busy one. It was an eventful one. And say there was one, I think to me, like the main move of the race at one point, Sebastian, he protects the middle lane, that opens up the bottom, and you had zero hesitation to let that one pass up, and looks like that may have been the move to get you to the front and then able to get through the gears on that restart and do everything you needed to do to get the win tonight. I mean, just take us through your race and then take us through those wild last laps of the race there, because I mean it was busy, it was eventful.
Oh, definitely. Well, most of the race was just trying to keep my my car in one piece because I lost my quick repair there early on in that first incident. I was hard on the brakes, but I tapped Mr. Johnson slightly and then forgot to clear my quick repair. So of course it took it, and then I just decided to stay in the back and try to save it. And then and I was still doing that even with the last few cautions. It kept pushing me forward and forward and forward, and I'm like, oh, I wasn't really ready to be up that close yet. But then that final caution, being 6th or 7th, or 7th, I just decided, okay, well, let's just go for broke and see what happens. And then thanks to Dan pushing me up there and keeping me up there. For the last 2 laps, he could have swung out there with Sebastian, and he didn't. So I appreciate that. And yeah, it was a good race overall.
I do have a question for you.
Yes, Mr. Wagner.
So you had your teammate, Charles Johnson, pushing the 23. Was there any talking between the teammates like don't push?
Nope.
Sebastian?
Nope. And if I was in his position, I would have tried to push Sebastian to a win. It's just, and I wouldn't expect any different from him. There was no conversation. I was thinking about him, like, is he going to push him? Yep. And he was.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just quite curious.
Because yeah, it was something Matt and I were talking about. It's like, well, you got teammates, but they're not hooked up, and yeah, it's just you don't know. I mean, of course, everyone wants to get the best result they can for them, and so yeah, I'm sure it's in Charles' best interest to shove Sebastian, maybe give himself an opportunity to do something too. But yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, you never know, and how much you can plan for and account for. There's always obviously only so much you can do, but yeah, I mean, it was a really, really good job for you tonight, Dean. And I mean, you guys have you guys were all in a good spot there. Unfortunately, I say the cautions and the incidents kind of took out some of your teams. We saw, I mean, there was that third lane was making a big charge with Todd Siebels. I think it was Gabe Butler and Peter DeBorgia. I think were working together. I mean, they were making some moves to try to get that third lane going, and so you guys all had at various points in the race. You guys were all kind of making some big moves there. So I mean, TW as a whole too. I mean, you guys have grown a bunch as a team here with Area 51 that I say for the drivers that I'm familiar with. I mean, you guys have definitely grown in numbers, but then also, I mean, the strategies, and then the ins and outs on pit road. I mean, you guys have been on top of your game this season. I mean, how is this something that you guys just are meshing better? I mean, how has that been working for you guys, kind of on the back end?
I mean, we've been racing, most of us, together for some time in most of the leagues across the board. So, I mean, we're all a bunch of, give and take kind of drivers. And if somebody falls back, we're going to go get them. And we're here for the fun. And, if we win a race, great. But it's teamwork. The key thing is working together, and we do all work well together. So.
Well, so now you got one to think about for future runs. It's like, hey, if we're lined up together, do we need to not help that guy on the outside line or anything? But no, joking aside, though, I mean, just awesome job tonight, Dean. That's like I said, there was times, like you said, you want to be further back, but you put yourself in the right place at the right time, and then from there just made sure that you weren't going to give that up. So it was a great win this evening, I'd say, and I know these are tough to come by with how stout these fields are. So as I know how big these things are to get. So definitely wanted to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that win tonight.
I'll definitely thank the team, TW Motorsports. Again, a great bunch of drivers. I'd like to thank you and Matt. Great broadcast. I'm going to go back and watch it, and like I do after every race, enjoy watching that. Area 51, awesome league. And the drivers, again, all these drivers. I mean, this league is only as good as the drivers, and these guys are all awesome drivers. So kudos and shout outs to those guys.
All right, well, we'll let you go celebrate. So congrats again, Dean. Go enjoy this one, and look forward to seeing you next week for the finale.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right, Matt, as we watch Dean celebrate in the infield, again, a hard-earned win for him. But, man, I mean, it was a wild one here tonight. That's going to bring us to the close of the second to last race, I should say, because we're going to kick off the week of finale starting tomorrow night, Matt. So we're going to be crowning 4 champions over the course from Monday to Sunday. It's going to be a fun week here coming up, and just starting tomorrow night with the Next Gen Series.
Yeah, especially the Indy Series, of which I'm a part of. What is it? Only 2 points separate first and second. So that's the one series I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the broadcasters too. Hopefully, I can end my bad luck streak. We're headed off to Phoenix.
Yeah, but it's going to be fun to see. So kicking off tomorrow night, over will be the Next Gen Series at Michigan, and it's a 14-point lead for Isaiah Sutherland over Kyle Heath. Gary Slipinski is going to be in third, 23 points out of the lead, so probably a 3-horse race over there. And like you mentioned on the IndyCar side of things, it is 2 points between the number 89, 4 points between Nick DeGroot and Andrew Wood. So saying again, I mean, we have to see how drop week's involved. I mean, things could shake up a little bit more even there. Craig Forsyth in third, 44 points out, so probably most likely a 2-horse race, but we've seen crazier things happen.
Yes,
and
sir.
then over in the Truck Series, I'm not going to say it's over, but Gabe Butler has a 44-point lead going into next week's race. So feeling pretty good for Gabe there. But again, you never know. So he's got Todd Siebels in second, JD Crow there, third, 48 out. So it's really a tight race, though, from second back to about the 6th position. So definitely that'll be, I'm sure, bragging rights for those remaining positions. So, and of course, they don't have the updated points here for the Super Speedway Xfinity, but probably is going to, again, Sebastian Marin going to stretch his lead out a little bit more as well. So, but Matt, as always, sir, a pleasure. Everybody watching that supports us here on Green White Checker TV, thank you all as well so much for watching. It's a lot of fun to do this, and it's always so much fun to see everybody kind of chiming in and kind of watching and supporting their drivers. So we'll be back tomorrow night. Nick Chambrone going to be calling the shots for that Next Gen Series at Michigan. Until tomorrow night, though, stay safe, take care, and enjoy the upcoming championship week. Take care, everybody.